So I thought, since I'm traveling a lot this month, that I would do an update on the 150 for you guys. Now, you may have heard in my video on how to manage the summer heat that I had a bit of a catastrophe with this tank. Unfortunately, my filter failed, and because it's been so hot, the dissolved oxygen was compromised and I lost a couple groups of fish. I was totally devastated, but I will rebuild. As you can see, the plants are doing really well. In fact, I've cultivated probably 10 large cuttings of the buse in this tank to share with other hobbyists. And they all continue to flower pretty much non-stop. I'm not sure which variety this is, but it's really taking off as well. The white clouds were completely unaffected by the filter failure, and as were the plants. Everything's growing in really good. You can see that dwarf sag, the grass-like stuff I put in the bottom, has absolutely exploded in this tank. I also added a bunch of these crypts, which are doing super well, and the little crypt Willisii is doing exceptionally well also. The gastromyzons, the little yellow dudes, survived the outage, as did all my rhinogobius. Unfortunately, I did lose my entire group of eremizon, as well as most of my Soelia. Added some of the spiny loaches I talked to you guys about a while back. I had about 12 or 13 of them to this tank, and it was for a few reasons. One was I wanted more activity since I lost the other loaches. And the other reason is that these guys really dig into the substrate, and I'm having a bit of a pest snail problem in this tank, mainly because it's so difficult to vacuum, and these guys are stirring things up beautifully. This island part has remained a favorite aspect of this tank to me. It almost always has 2 or 3 blooms, and the moss has really infiltrated the roots of that Bucephalandra nicely, and the white clouds hang out there almost all the time, often spawning in that little island mat that's been created. All in all, this tank is extremely successful. It still has some growing to do. I'm still not dosing any fertilizers. I'm still using the same light routine I had, which is an interrupted cycle, with the fluval light being on about 7 hours a day at this point, and the LED light being on about 16 hours a day. And I have some minimal algae, but nothing that a little glass cleaning can't take care of on a weekly basis. Now, as of right now, all my male rhinogobius are currently hanging out in the caves they've excavated. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have babies soon, which is super exciting. But you can also see that this bulbitis has gotten phenomenally huge. It looks fantastic. As you can see, things are looking pretty good. It's actually a lot lusher planting than I had hoped for with my lack of dosing, inert substrate, and sort of strange light cycle. I've maintained the thick green growth on the rocks, which, if you'll remember correctly, were almost white, and the plants have stayed relatively healthy. I continue to do my large volume water changes and just minimal maintenance otherwise. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my updates, Tuesday tips, or species spotlights. Make sure you stop by my Facebook as well as my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements, my current stock list, and information on all things nano.